the perfect world. Everybody's out there crying to be heard, but I got a new fire burning my heart, lighting up the darkness and moving like a meteorite. Oh fire, oh fire, oh fire. Just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts off you profit. When everything just falls in line, we live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts out you.
We on, Jim? Welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and this is going to be an awesome show. And I say that every week because every week is an awesome show. So today we have a really exciting and full show. We have Marlon, president and founder of the Next Chapter, Life's Next Chapter organization that we're partnering with. He's Skyping in, and we're going to talk about a little telethon announcement, I should say. And then we have Venise. She is a physical therapist, and we're going to talk to her about the need for physical therapy and me after what it's been almost, next year will be 30 years after my stroke, and I actually need to go back to physical therapy for my arm. So it really is important. Her piece to this stroke puzzle is really, really important. Then we have in our studio our two board members, Nancy and Ginny. Ginny is a part of the telethon team, and Nancy is a part of the board. And of course, I would not forget, and I'm waiting till last to make her the most important. She's not the most important. We're all important and play one important piece to the puzzle, but Judy is the one that really keeps me in line. So that makes her important because I fly off the handle all the time and go here and go there and want to do this and want to do that. And so Ginny and Nancy know how to deal with me as well. But Judy's like, Renee. And the truth is, I need that.
I'm texting you, Renee.
I need that.
I'm emailing. Did you get my text?
So, by the way, this is Judy, and we'll bring on the members. But so you know, before we get Marlon onto the screen, because he's Skyping in from his from New Jersey, because of course we're from New Jersey. Where's the camera, Jim? This is the camera, right? So we're Skyping in from New Jersey. We have so many different setups in this. You don't know the back end. I'll take photos so you can see the back end. But I really wanted to bring to the forefront a mission that the American Stroke Association is leading the way on. And they're not leading the way, but they're a part of. And that's, I'm going to read it so I don't make a mistake. On our show, we were bringing to the forefront of our broadcast the American Stroke Association, who are asking us to join in lifting our voices. And this is how we're asking that you lift your voice. Tell Congress, increase funding for heart and stroke programs. I'm going to read this. Judy, do you want to read that for me?
With my glasses.
Yes. And this is, and it really is important. You need to go to You're the Cure and the Stroke Association. And I'm actually going to, while Judy's on, I'm actually after the show going to put it on my Facebook once again. It is on my Facebook, but so that you could just click the link and hook on. And I'm actually going to put it on our website as well so that we can help in the cause. But Judy, read that for us.
Tell Congress, increase funding for heart and stroke programs. Heart disease and stroke are the two of the biggest causes of death in America, but only a small amount of funding is allocated to research, the treatment and prevention of these health risks. Increasing research funding could not only save billions in health care costs, but could also save countless lives. We need you to join us in demanding that Congress increase funding for heart and stroke programs. And then you want to mention the
link?
website?
Well, you could go to You're the Cure organization and Google in that. If you want to Google in Tell Congress increase funding for heart and stroke programs, and at You're the Cure at AmericanStrokeAssociation.com. So it really is important. Our voices are really, really important, and they're part of the process. And that's why we do this, and that's why we trust so much in the American Stroke Association. But we also need to join together. It's not any organization against each other. It's us all partnering together. That's one of our biggest feelings. We feel that we all have to join together to make a difference. So if you have any questions, you can tweet me, or if you want to Facebook me, or if you want to email me at ReneMarie languageoflove@gmail.com. We'll answer any questions that you have. So that being said, we're going to stroll right into, could you put our friend Marlon on the screen, Jim? Oh, Marlon's there. Hi, Marlon.
Hi, how are you? Good morning, ReneMarie. Good morning, Jim. How are you doing today? Good morning, Denise. Good morning to Judy and to Jenny. Everybody's there. Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
You've got a great memory.
He does. So, Marlon, we are so happy and honored to partner with you. You and I have a really... I think spiritual connection, because a long time ago, my grandfather used to work for the location that you work, Barnet Rehab. It used to be Barnet Hospital a long time ago, and I just out of the blue wanted to honor my grandfather to sing there. And you connected, and that was the beginning of this journey. And everybody knows that's following me as my grandfather has a huge spiritual connection and guidance for me. So thank you so much for after 5 years that we hadn't even
5 years
we hadn't even spoken to each other, and out of the blue, tell us what you did.
I know. All right, but before anything else, I would like to thank you very much, ReneMarie, for this opportunity. I do believe that things happen for the reason, and God is actually with us
5
all
years.
the time. And it was really amazing. So I agree. I agree. For quite a while, we haven't been spoken, but I think that's the importance when you have a friend and you have somebody that you actually look up into. And it's just after we built our nonprofit foundation, the first thing that we thought about it is that I got to call ReneMarie, my friend, because I know that the collaboration between ReneMarie, says Language of Love and Life's Next Chapter Foundation, we're going to make it happen, especially to empower the community. I totally agree because stroke is actually the third leading cause of death in the United States, and I believe, one every 20 seconds a person suffers from stroke, and at least for every 4 minutes, one person will die out of stroke. And this is a type of program that is very, very close to my heart because stroke is out there, and not only adult people will get affected by this disease, but also everybody, almost everybody, even infants, as we did our own research. So Life's Next Chapter Foundation, basically our aims is to help the families to feel safe, healthy, and educated through education and health promotion. And now this is going to be a very exciting and very informative event for the community, especially not just for the local area, Jersey City, but as well as for New Jersey itself. So thank you so much, ReneMarie, and your organization and your team. It really means a lot to us to be able to participate and collaborate with this program.
I love you guys. I was able to say to my organization, I say, it's like having fresh young blood, because you guys have so much dynamic, wonderful energy. I saw you guys at a health fair yesterday. I think it was a health fair, and you guys were dancing in the street. like you guys were just enjoying the moment and enjoying life. And I said, I'm so happy we had them on our team, because it's like you're flying. So, and we love that. We love to fly. So
thank you. We're very honored to have you with us. This partnership is very important, and I think the partnership will go along the way, not just in the beginning, but also we're going to come up with a lot of programs that will actually help the people,
We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Marlon.
All right.
Oh, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
All right, great.
So Marlon, just give a quick plug about October 25th, where it is, and where the name of it. And Jim, do you have the photo for it?
Yes,
it says Stroke of Luck. Jim will put it up on the screen while you're talking about it.
Sure, I sure will. All right. The event is actually a Stroke of Luck. The presenters are actually ReneMarie, Language of Love, Life's Next Chapter Foundation, and in collaboration with the HSSL Society. These are students from New Jersey City University. Stroke of Luck, Stroke and Aphasia Awareness, Health and Education event will be happening on October 25th. That is Thursday at New Jersey City University. This is going to be a very, very exciting event because, number one, we have you part of this program, and then second, a lot of community resources are actually participating on this event. So the event will start from 10 to 4 p.m., but there will be a lot of activities coming, putting up together to make the event more exciting. People will going to have interested going. So from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, we'll be having the community resources program, where in each time from 10 to 11, 11 to 12, we're going to have different community resources that are coming up on stage, and we'll be talking about the services and the programs that are doing for the community. And from 12 to 1, we're going to have a little break. At 1 o'clock, from 1 to 2 p.m., the Honorable Mayor Stephen Fulop of Jersey City will going to be there to do a proclamation and resolution for us. And also, Assemblywoman Angela V. McKnight of New Jersey Legislature District 31 will going to be there as well to do a proclamation. And the President of New Jersey City University, which is going to be participating on the program, President Sue Henderson will be there as well. And of course, the much awaited moment of the day from 2 to 4 o'clock is the Language of Love program, the Language of Love Telethon, which will be hosted by you and your team.
We lost them again? That doesn't, we'll pick up.
No. You think he's talking, but he's not. It's delayed.
So Marlon,
All right.
so and we're really excited about it. And just so everybody knows, if you know any colleges or any organization, we are going to take this template and really streamline it around the tri-state area to start out with. Then we plan on going on tour.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. That is absolutely. Remember when we had this meeting during our initiation, we said, this is just the beginning. Yeah. So we were doing it over in Jersey City, but we are going to do a tour. At the moment, with God's help, we're going to do it over in New Jersey. Yeah. We're going to go bring it all over America, and we're going to go do it globally. But of course, with everybody's help, everybody's participation, and I think nothing is impossible if you have the strongest alliance working with you. Yeah. And that is the thing. So.
Yeah. So we're really excited about it.
Yes,
and,
we are.
And just we would like to make a telethon announcement that since they're such energy and such dynamic and really have the drive, and I think that they're a piece to the puzzle that we really needed on our telethon. We've asked the Next Chapter Foundation to be a part of our annual telethon, and so the beneficiaries of the telethon will be the American Stroke Association, because we've always want to keep them, because they were really the base to the foundation. They're really the organization that Sharon Bean, to put it bluntly, loved us, hooked on with us, supported us. Judy had introduced you to Sharon Bean. Nancy had, when we met Nancy through that, and now the Life's Next Chapter. So we are really excited about our partnership.
Yes, we are very, very excited also. Just to let you know, ReneMarie, 2 days before, this is actually going to be an annual event for Jersey City and also for New Jersey City University. That is what the proclamation is all about. So this is basically it. Every October, the month of every October, we'll be setting up the Stroke of Luck over New Jersey City University, and people were going to be waiting for that.
Good. Well, we're really excited about it. We have to take a quick break because we have to interview our physical therapist, Venise. I just had to think because I didn't want to say it incorrectly, Venise. And but thank you so much, Marlon. And you're going to set something up for me to come meet everyone this coming Thursday or Friday, so that we could continue the work that we're doing. So thank you, Marlon. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ReneMarie. And
more kisses.
God bless.
Okay.
He's off. I thought we were going to go to a quick break. So we're going to go to a quick break. And are we set to go right into the can we bring them right on? Mm-hmm. We don't need to. We're not going to waste any time. Why waste time when we have everybody? So we've opened up the floor. And let me explain. On the right in green is Denise. She's a physical therapist, and I love the name of her biz center. It's called Sunshine.
Sunshine Physical Therapy.
It brings sunshine in. So thank you, Venise, for being here today, and for naming your organization, your foundation, your center, not your foundation, your center, Sunshine. So thank you so much. And then to the left, I guess. In the beautiful, what's on that?
Oh, lions and tigers.
Lions
and bears.
And tigers and bears. Oh my, lions! That's Ginny, and then we have Nancy to her left. So thank you so much. And just a refresher that Ginny and Nancy have also suffered strokes. I'm not sure if our new viewers know that, but they're also stroke survivors, so that's why they're so engaged in helping us with this organization. Right. So, Venise, tell us a little bit about why and how you decided to become a physical therapist.
I always had a passion from when I was a little kid to be someone that helped others. When other kids would play with dolls, and I played operation. I played, you be the patient, I'll be the doctor. So I always wanted to be a doctor. From third grade on, when your teacher says, write down what you want to be when you grow up. And then I went to Catholic school, and, penmanship was fairly big, and the teacher would walk around saying, oh, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a doctor. So I always thought that being a doctor meant you had great handwriting. And she came to me and said, nothing. So fast forward years later, I realized what you're going to be a doctor really meant. Had nothing to do with penmanship. Anyway, I went to Stony Brook, graduated. I was a pre-med major. And you couldn't be just a pre-med major. So sophomore year, I had to pick a major. So I'm looking through the course catalog. And I said, physical therapy. This is interesting. It was at Stony Brook. And so to be, I wasn't just put down the major. You actually had to volunteer. And I volunteered at the VA hospital. I volunteered at the CP Center in Commack. And I went around looking at private practices and going to patients' homes with other physical therapists. I applied, I got in, and I'm happy to say that this year I am a 40-year graduate of Stony Brook's PT program.
Congratulations.
Yes,
wonderful.
great.
Congratulations.
And as a give back, I just started going back and being a TA in the program itself.
Wow.
So now I'm a TA in the advanced orthopedic class.
What's a TA?
Teaching assistant, which is great because I own my own physical therapy office and I have plenty to do. So it's nice to take a back seat and just do what my passion is. Give back to the students and teach them my years of knowledge.
Wow.
So.
Now, you had given Andrew physical therapy.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Andrew is, of course, our Elvis
Impersonator.
impersonator, and that's Judy's husband, if nobody knows. But what kind of physical therapy did she do for Andrew?
All I heard was that he went in and his back was just killing him, and your center, with the exercises and everything that he did there and that he did at home, he was feeling much better, and he highly recommends you.
Venise, because, when you go to physical therapy, it's kind of like, I know that you have to understand the person, the individual, because each individual needs different things, and you also have to understand the case. But why does the repetition in doing something make a difference?
Okay, well, you don't know this, but when I was in PT school, my grandmother had a stroke, and she had to come live. I'm telling you,
we're going to have to do a whole program on that now.
And so there I am as a PT student teaching my grandmother at the house things about physical therapy. And then fast forward, when I was a new physical therapist and I worked in the rehab center, I worked at Brunswick Rehab, and 90% of my patients were stroke patients.
Wow.
So that's where my passion was. That was my first job. That's when I did the home cares. I went around doing home cares for stroke patients.
I know.
So, it's
God
amazing.
Amazes me.
Yeah, every day.
He amazes me because, once again, like with Cher.
Right.
Right?
Oh,
yes.
Louise and
Bruno.
like with
Louise.
who was on our show last week?
Leanne.
We had no idea that their backstory had a stroke involved.
Oh, yeah. And it gets even better because back in '89, after I moved my practice, after Brunswick, I decided to do home cares only, and then I had a small practice in my house and expanded. Within 4.5 years, I moved to the present location, and that was in '85. '89, I expanded again because business was booming, and my orthopedic specialty really took on a great pattern, and we expanded again. Right at that very moment, my dad had his first of many strokes. He was 56.
So your mom and your dad had strokes.
Mm-hmm. So now, it was my grandmother and during PT school, and then my mom, that was my mom's mom. And then at age 56, my dad had his first stroke.
Wow.
And he had a pretty severe one. Anyway, and then so strokes are very near and dear to me, and we rehabbed him, and he got better, and he lived till 11 years ago. And
What kind of stroke did he have?
the first time, because he had many, he had a right hemiplegia with aphasia. Ooh. So,
So
both
you've experienced someone with aphasia.
Definitely. Definitely.
Which is one of my, like, I'm an advocate for strokes because, God gave me a second chance at life.
She had a stroke at 26.
But I really want people to understand, well, first of all, that strokes is a first leading cause of disability in the country.
Yep.
So it's like they're shattering us and just leaving us, to really pick up the pieces. But the other thing is aphasia, because aphasia is the brain. You can't see what's happening or going on in that person's brain. And they may look, healthy. They may look a little bit centered, but what they're going on in their brain, you have no idea. Sometimes they can't process quick enough anymore,
Well, unfortunately, people don't even realize that a lot more people that don't even have strokes have aphasia.
Yes.
Some of my patients that have early Alzheimer's or dementia, some patients that have other neurological conditions or effects of chemotherapy,
See, I
brain
didn't know any of
cancer, tumors,
Wow.
they're having trouble speaking now. And they're expressive as well as receptive aphasia. Or they have motor control problems, or they have problems reading and writing. My mom is 88, and she's showing the same signs.
Wow.
They're calling it dementia, but I know it's not. When she looks at a magazine and continues to look at it and doesn't turn the page, or she watches television and she doesn't process. These are processing disorders. So you asked before, and then I segued, why the repetition? There's something called neuroplasticity, where you need to, in the brain, it's all about motor control. And you need that constant repetition until the motor patterning is done. Unfortunately, we have primary reflexes when we're born, and then our brain develops and you become more complex. After a stroke, you lose some of that complex patterning and you go right back to your simple patterns. As you know from when you had your stroke, you have spasticity, you have flexion patterns and extension
What's
patterns.
spasticity?
When someone has an increased tone. So there's flaccidity, when someone's flaccid, where there's no muscle tone. And then there's spasticity, where they actually have increased tone, and they have to break that pattern.
I didn't know that
Venise,
could happen.
I knew that when my dad had his stroke, I was able to move his arm, okay? And then they put it in a brace. So he was like this in the brace, and it froze.
Right.
And became spastic.
Wow.
So-
I didn't know that
And
your
if-
muscle got larger. You got more muscle.
Well, you get atrophy, meaning smaller, and then you get hypertrophy, meaning larger size. But unfortunately, and they're trying to get away from those splints now.
Right, because otherwise I was there 6
Right,
hours
but
a day. I couldn't
that alone is
exercise.
not spasticity. That was just joint stiffness. Now they have something called functional electrical stimulation. There are devices that they put on the
That's
shins to increase dorsiflexion so they don't have drop foots. So they're trying to get away from splints unless they're what they call resting splints when they sleep. They really want movement. And the mind-body connection is so great. They've learned that. And over time, and being that I was a rehab specialist working in the rehab center, it wasn't just about their arm or their leg. They were a whole person.
Yeah.
And I continue that now, treating, even when I treat my young kids that have concussions. Those people still have processing disorders. So, and they have trouble speaking, or they're receptive. So is that part of aphasia? I think it's just another word for the same condition.
Right.
And I think that when we realize, this CTE, this chronic traumatic encephaly,
right.
That people have
That's
concussions.
what the movie was about, right?
That's
Concussion.
right. These are all symptoms, just a different word, a different language for the same thing. It's aphasia. When they can't watch video games or they can't take a test because they can't process, isn't that aphasia?
Well, isn't it because, in a concussion world, isn't it because there's inflammation in there?
Inflammations
and
and
the
chemicals.
inflammation has to go down before
Right.
they could start subsiding
Right.
and the aphasia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just like that. So, the whole body, mind, spirit control, when you hook the patient on, realize it's just not their arm or their leg. They're a person. And then you make them understand that if they lost their limb or they lost the use, the function, they're not just they're not their limb. They're not their
Right.
their
Right.
occupation. They're still that person. I remember one of my very first home care patients. She was 25 and she had a stroke. She, had a little baby, and 2 months after the baby was born, she decided to go on a diet, took Dexatrim, and she had an AV malformation, and she had a major stroke.
Wow.
And I used to treat her in the hospital, then I treated her in the house. And after that, she came to my office, and although she never got back the use of her arm, she got back use of her leg. She was able. I used to have to teach her how to diaper a baby, with one arm. She was still the baby's mom, and she went on to go and work for Suffolk County in Yaphank, and she was a success story. And I remember her many years later.
Well, it's so ironic because mine was 6 months after my daughter was born.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It seems that women are susceptible to a stroke within that first 6 months after they give birth.
There's so many variations.
Right.
There's so many variations. I think stroke is like the collaboration of so many different facets of people. So, right? Don't you agree?
Absolutely. There's so many things that can cause that stroke.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
vast variety of
Yeah.
things.
So like with me, 20, almost 30 years later, I'm starting to have atrophy
Right.
in my arm, and I know a lot of it's my own fault because I'm so busy working and sitting at a computer and with the tension, because I
Right.
know that I feel tension in this arm. So how many do you think that ongoing after the insurance and after the medical doctors tell you that it's all you can do, we feel that it's a lifetime of recovery, a lifetime.
I agree.
It is.
I always talk about it in regard to whatever resonates with the person. So if someone is always a Weight Watchers person, I say, well, when you hit your goal, do you stop eating properly? Or if you had a heart attack and you went through cardiac rehab, do you stop exercising? Do you stop brushing your teeth the day after you have your teeth cleaned?
Right.
What you don't use, you lose. That's a known fact.
Right.
And in life, you start out, you're the healthiest you are when you're born, and you gradually lose that. So it depends on your lifestyle. If you want to stay healthy, you need to exercise. They say 20 to 30 minutes every day.
Wow.
So what you do, you become. If you use it, you have it. If you don't use it, you lose it. So it's a lifestyle that you want to be. They say that 50 is the new 60, and everything's getting younger and younger. So to stay healthy, you need to eat right. You have to exercise. And just because insurance says you can't have does not mean that you don't. If you want, you have to pay for it. Just like hearing aids, no insurance pays for hearing aids.
You know what?
Eyeglasses.
Some people,
But yeah, people
can't
say,
afford it.
I agree.
They
And-
can't afford it.
Right.
I mean,
but they can exercise. They can go to there
Yes.
are videos. There's the gyms
but
now.
also not to cut you off.
That's okay.
But you got to do things the right way.
Right.
So sometimes you need guidance, and one of our long-term, what did I call it, crusades or legacy. Our legacy is really to build a center that stroke survivors can come to on a regular basis, and we'll worry about the financial end of it, as they're working through it.
Well, it's interesting. There's a big push with the American Physical Therapy Association, and October's Physical Therapy Month every year. So, but to have a monthly or an annual PT exam as part of your health care, it is one of the 10 things that's in the Health Care Act that you need. Physical therapy has to be reimbursed. But if you had a stroke 20, 30 years ago, or you had arthritis, they don't want to pay for chronic conditions, but they'll pay for elbow stiffness, or they'll pay for shoulder stiffness. It's a different coding. So, the underlying, the medical problem was that you had a stroke 30 years ago.
It's your life, it's your physical,
That's right.
It's how you're feeling. It doesn't matter where it came from.
Right.
You know, I mean, we all need, that's why we have insurance. And then for those that don't have insurance, I mean, there's so many variations. And to me, it's like when someone has suffered a stroke and ongoing, well, we should love each other no matter what. Love is the answer for everything. It really helps us to break down those walls for recovery.
Right.
You know, especially when you're a stroke patient, because a stroke is a brain attack, right? So all of a sudden you've had this attack on your brain, and all your pieces are shattered all over the place, and you don't even understand what you have to do. So tell us a little bit about like someone who you right from the beginning of their stroke, like how did you communicate with them?
Sure. So the first you do is do an evaluation, almost like we call it charts: chief complaint, history, then check out their asymmetries, their range of motion, their tissue, and then the special test. So, and then find out what they're all about. What's their goal? Set goals up, both short-term and long-term. Maybe their goal is to get back to work, get back. When they're in the rehab center, their goal is to get out of the hospital, get out of the rehab center, and they don't care how they do it. And you try to empower them to be independent. Our goal as physical therapists is not to make them dependent on us or a family,
Right.
but to empower them,
Right.
to make them independent, make them realize, again, like I said before, that they're not their arm or their leg, because people could deal for about 2 months, and then the depression hits. They say, and when it doesn't go away after 2 months, now the first 6 to 8 weeks they realize. And now with TPA, the clot blocker that
Yes.
you get into the hospital, and if you can get on that clot blocker, the TPA within 2 to 3 hours.
I think
Now
it's
it's
four
4
and a
hours
half
now.
hours, 4.5 hours.
Used to be 2
As
hours.
soon as
Yeah.
the-
Now it's 4.5 hours.
And we want to express that it's from the onset of a
That's
stroke.
right.
It's not from when you find that person.
Right.
It's from the onset of a stroke. So if they haven't determined that it's from the initial mark of your stroke, then I don't think they could.
They don't.
They can't do it.
And they don't. If in fact, my dad's last stroke, they didn't know when he went unconscious, and they had to make sure that he didn't have a
Please.
cerebral hemorrhage. So and it was only a 2-hour window back 11 years ago, and we waited, and then we lost the 2-hour window. But it doesn't matter. Now they realize even if you don't have that 2-hour window, the first 6 to 8 weeks are very important to get the therapy, because that's when the brain could be stimulated the most, and you could still years later get what they call dendritic stimulation and other patterning, so that you could find other pathways.
That
Yeah.
word.
So what you
I
can.
mean, I'm a layperson. I don't
That's
understand
okay.
medical terms.
There's
so I
something
want everybody
called
to
collateral
understand.
circulation. So fibers, blood supplies are going in one direction, but you have blood throughout the brain. So the body is an amazing engineered structure. So there's ways, not like a starfish where you can grow a new arm, but there are ways that the body forms other circulatory pathways. So now those cells can be stimulated with blood, hence oxygen, hence nutrients, and start to regenerate. And they're doing amazing research now with stem cells and all this other stuff. And unfortunately, you need money for all this stuff. And that's where your organization is wonderful. So we can do what we do at best as physical therapists, but we need to have
Need to
the
raise
money.
funds.
Yeah.
That's one of the questions that they ask when you go on this this You're the Cure website, and you because I went on and logged on and I joined it. It asks you, do you believe that we need financial to be able to support the ongoing
Definitely.
education?
100%.
And
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah,
of
then the
course.
physical therapists, we actually have a foundation through the American Physical Therapy Association just for research, because everything now with insurance is evidence-based medicine. Evidence-based. They will not pay for it unless a study has been shown. And I go lobbying in New York State all the time, so I know about this stuff. But I also know, being a very big member of my association, if you don't have the funding to do the research, then the insurance companies don't see the journal articles written. So they say, yeah, you tell us anecdotally that functional electrical stimulation helps. But if we don't see the research and to back it up, we're not going to pay for those units.
Right.
So you need the research money, and the only way you get the research money is through
And that's
funding.
the American Physical Therapy
Right.
Association?
And they have a foundation
Yeah,
there.
when we are from the telethon, our money goes directly to education for the American
That's
Stroke
great.
Association.
And-
Well, you
and
know,
that's what you need.
we split it, and the last one, and ours goes to our mission statement, which is this show for education,
Right.
the annual telethon, and we've begun to give last year to those that their insurance has run out. It was very small, but we wanted to stay in compliance with our mission statement, so we begun the process. So those are our 3 mission statements: stroke and aphasia awareness, an annual telethon, and to help those that their
That's
insurance
great.
has run out.
But people need to read that.
Then the other half we gave to American Stroke Association, and we noted that it was for education.
Well,
for
education is
for,
key, and research.
for research,
Yeah,
for
because
research.
that's the future.
Yes, that's good. So, you've been doing this, and 40 years. That's incredible. That's
I know.
Yeah.
I started when I was in kindergarten.
So, I'm just flabbergasted by the stories that you have brought to us about your family and how passionate and connected. So you're one of our family now. And you can be on our telethon and work with
All right.
us if you don't mind.
I'm definitely going to book you to talk about the stroke history in your family.
Okay.
I've got
Is there-
dates available already.
Is there a stroke history other than your grandmother and your father?
And my dad. Cardiovascular diseases runs in the family, but not like today. They didn't exercise back then. They didn't eat the right foods, although they were Mediterranean diet, those Italians. But the other part they didn't do.
Wow.
And they didn't have the medication like they have today.
Wow.
And my dad was a smoker. He was a 2.5-pack smoker. a day.
I know that I honestly believe that we have to eat healthy. You want to come back in, Nancy?
Yes.
Come on. We're live. We could.
Hi, everybody.
So I know that we have to eat healthy. I actually just joined Ideal Protein because 3 years ago I was hit by a car, and I haven't been able to exercise. I've been sitting, most of the time. I haven't been able to. So I joined Ideal Protein. It's almost, just really a guidance to eat healthy. That's really what it is, to eat protein, to eat salad, to not eat bread, to not eat sugars and all that kind of stuff. And where was I going with that?
And you follow that very carefully. I've seen the way you eat.
Well, I actually just started yesterday. I just was my first day on it. I need to lose 25 pounds. I'm saying it to the world. I need to lose 25 pounds.
But I've seen you when you have dinner that you eat very...
Yeah, but for some reason, I guess, I don't know if you know anything about this. It's really not what you eat. It's the combination of things that you eat. Can you talk a little bit about that?
No problem. I'm not a nutritionist, but I do read a lot about it because patients ask me all the time. What supplements, what food should I eat? And it's true. Whenever you have a carb, you need to have a protein. And if you can, have the protein first.
Oh, wow.
It really helps your blood sugar, stabilize your blood sugar.
Right.
If you're going to have a carb, just do it in moderation. I always say, those old TV dinner things, where you had the big in the middle, make that your vegetables, make that your complex carbohydrate, and make a small section, the protein part and the carb. And that would really help. More fruits and vegetables is great. More of the, people talk about an anti-inflammatory diet, a high alkaline diet. So it's cutting back on a lot of the red meats, doing more of the fruits and vegetables and the grains, more of a Mediterranean diet.
But the fruits have natural sugars in them.
Right, so you have to be
now
very
they're trying-
careful.
they're
You
try-
have to be
I'm
very
trying
careful.
to not cut out all the sugars in my body.
Well, the whole adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. The skin of an apple has something called quercetin, which is a natural anti-inflammatory.
Wow.
And there's a lot of spices that are anti-inflammatory too. And they realize that there's inflammation, just like there was inflammation in the brain with the stroke. That's what, and inflammation in joints This is all important stuff, and we are what we eat. We're a machine, just like a car. If you wouldn't put, if your car is a sports car, you wouldn't put low test octane in it. So, and that's how I talk to some of my, male patients that are car racers. I'm going to tell them, like, I put it in their language. Your body's a car.
Right.
Yeah. If
Right.
you want to drive around a Porsche, you don't put in the low octane.
You have to.
I'd like to just jump in here for a minute.
Sure.
About the anti-inflammatory herbs and things. I take Plavix because of the stroke that I had. So I have to be very careful when I say, turmeric. Nope, but it's a blood thinner.
Right.
So I have to be very careful about any. I can only take Tylenol as far as that goes. But I have arthritis in a few places. So I need an anti-inflammatory, but I can't use the natural products because it could create a thinner blood that is too much of a problem. So I think that balance has to be found.
Oh yeah, you have to. But there's other topicals. There's arnica, which is a very nice one. There's cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
There's cinnamon. That's another anti-inflammatory.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot more that won't interfere.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always check with your hematologist or the pharmacist. This is great.
Yeah.
People forget that they have, many of them now have doctorates in pharmacy. I happen to have 2 nephews and that are pharmacists. So there's a lot of knowledge that your pharmacist has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do. They always tell you to go and ask your pharmacist, and it's really important to form a relationship with a pharmacist so that they can know your history and so that they get to know you. So they're not because that was why I always kept the same doctor, even I had to pay out of pocket for him. I wanted somebody that knew my whole trail, so it was important. It's almost we're talking about food, but it's almost like the fork over knife. Did you ever see that?
Yep.
That
Yes.
I started watching that, and it's scary. It's scary, But I believe that you could stay healthy by eating the right items, and really it's almost like balancing yourself with the same way you have to take certain medicines.
Right.
You should really your body needs certain carbs and not carbs, certain what's the word I'm looking for?
Protein?
No, what's in the cinnamons? What was in the cinnamon and the
Anti-inflammatory.
yeah, we're all individuals and we're all different. So how can who do we go to find out what our body would need? Would it be a nutritionist?
A nutritionist would definitely know. Sometimes they go through and do saliva tests, doctors, or blood tests. But you should also keep a journal of how you feel. One nutrient that we didn't talk about that everyone needs is water.
Yes.
The first sign of dehydration is fatigue.
Wow.
And people usually drink water after they're thirsty. You're already 10% dehydrated.
Wow.
So that they find slows down everything, makes the blood thicker. So people that are more prone to strokes can have a stroke easier if they don't have the proper nutrition, the proper water, the proper hydration. You're 80% water. Your body's 80% water. You're supposed to have, because I know you're going to ask, half your body weight, half your body weight in ounces a day.
Say it again,
half of your body weight.
Half of your body weight
in ounces a day of water.
Wow.
So, they used to say 6 to 8 glasses. Well, that might not be. And they've eased up now the guidelines where they used to say don't use coffee or tea as part of that because both of those are diuretics and make the water pass out. But they just want you to get liquid in.
But it's hard to drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day.
Well, you have to, yeah. I keep a glass right by my sink when I wash my hands in between patients. And water is boring to me, so I'll cut up a lemon or a lime, which again, helps with that alkaline diet.
Right.
So something as simple as cutting up a lemon or a lime will help. Drinking a glass of water every morning and not cold. You just leave it on the
I
counter.
like it. I like
That's
the warm
what
ones.
They're
they've
saying
proven.
that you should drink a glass of water before you eat breakfast,
That's
maybe
right.
an hour before.
That's right. So you have a glass ready on the kitchen counter. I usually keep a glass ready with a cut up lemon from the night before, but lemon water in the morning, best thing you can
Yeah,
do.
I do that.
It helps
do
with your skin. It helps with your digestion. It just starts the day off right. So the best way to know what's you are doing that is the right food is to really see how you feel 1 to 2 hours later. If you find that 1 to 2 hours later you're really tired, you got that slump, think back to what you did 2 hours prior.
Wow.
So, and they now say that you should have a 12-hour period of a fast. So a lot of times,
Wow.
yeah, I'll eat at 10 o'clock at night after a long day. I won't eat my breakfast then
Till 10.
till 10.
Oh,
But
wow.
that's what, they've proven. So not a 24-hour fast, but a good 12 hours, and it just helps the body.
Wow. You know, I think I'm just laughing to myself because we're talking about lemons, and lemons are yellow like the sun, and sunshine that's just coming through my brain. Like,
That's it. And the solar plexus color,
Yeah.
because I'm a yoga person,
Yeah.
is yellow.
How did we get to the? How did we round that whole thing? The whole
habit.
place? Yeah, it's like-
Sunflowers, everything.
Judy, Ginny or Nancy, could you give the fast? You know the fast.
F is for face, A is for arm, S is for speech, and T is for time, which is the most important thing.
And then we add to it that when you do make that phone call, you need to let the person on the other end know that it could be a stroke, because then they get into stroke mode. They do certain things, you know. When the ambulance come, they know what to look for. Of course, they're gonna scan it the way they always do, but that's something that they don't have. They're already aware of, and then they'll call the hospital. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. They'll call the hospital on the way, and if they determine that you need to have a CAT scan, they'll pass right by triage and bring you in for a CAT scan.
Yeah,
Am I correct?
Yeah, I you don't know this either, but I was in the ambulance corps for 12 years. I was crew
There you
chief.
go.
I was crew chief on Wednesday nights.
Wow.
And an AEMT pre.
And am I
pre-kids.
correct in my?
You are 100% right.
Okay.
And now they have certain medication on the ambulance too.
Wow.
I have a
Wow.
question about the medication. It's TP. What did you call it?
TPA.
TPA.
It stands for.
If that's administered after that 4 or 4.5 hour window, is it a problem? Or
Don't
is it
know.
just like
I
not doing
personally
any good?
don't know.
Oh.
But they have to
Can I
make
say
sure it's
something
not a
about that?
bleed.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. Once they test, you have to give you a CAT scan, MRI to make sure that there is no bleed. Once they figure out that there is no bleed, they can then administer the drug. And the only reason I know that is because my assistant at my job, she had a stroke right in my arms, and I knew
Right.
every single thing, exactly what to do, and I watched go through this whole thing, and that's exactly what they did. They did the same thing for me when I had my stroke. They had to do all those tests, but unfortunately, my time had lapsed because I had mine in my sleep.
Right.
But
They're now
normally
doing that
they
for
have
spinal
to be
cord too
tested.
now.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
really?
Yeah, because it's a clot buster. What happens when you have a clot? Certain enzymes go to that clot and breaks down the tissue and breaks down the nerve tissue, so that there's no connection. And nerve fibers are just like these wires.
Wow.
So when you break that wire down, then it doesn't matter that the muscle's on this end and the brain's on the other end, or really the brain's here and the muscle's down there. There's no connection anymore. So they're finding that these blood clotters, if they've done fast enough, be it stroke patients or traumatic brain injury, and that's another one, or spinal cord, are able to slow down that enzyme that breaks down
They're also
the tissue.
doing stints. Am I correct? I
They
think
are
that
too.
Sharon had told us that
It's great.
they're doing stints
Yep.
in the brain as well.
Right, but the problem is when you have a bleed, these
Oh, yeah,
blood
yeah.
clots can
Yeah.
make everything else bleed, and then you
Right.
die of the bleed.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I don't
Very
know
important.
the you know the.
That's incredible. Well, I think we're out of time, right?
Yes, it's pretty close.
9:57. But we really want to thank you. You are so educated and you are so wise. And what I love is that you speak in people's terms. And when we have a question, you know how to answer it in a way that simplifies for those of us that don't understand medical. And that's really important for the general public because, we're not educated. That's why I always say that, I've gone through a stroke and I've experienced a stroke. I can only tell you how it feels and what we need to recover from it. And I know we need to have love around us, and we need to have the proper doctors, and we need to have a team of people. But I really feel that we need to prepare ourselves for the what ifs in our lives. We need to have that team around us that can help us. Like, don't wait till you need a physical therapist to go research, go find somebody that connects to you, so that when you do, you don't have to scramble and find someone, then you don't really connect with them. The same thing with neurologists, the same thing with your internist.
Very true.
It's really important. I mean, and on a financial end as well, you need to financially stabilitate yourself because, you got to be set for if something happens. And it doesn't matter whether you have a ton of money or you don't have any money. You need to be prepared in life for the what ifs. So it really is very important to take care of yourself like that. So, but thank you so much, Venise.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. I hope you'll come back and share your mom and your dad's, your grandmother and your dad's story because I'm
flabbergasted.
and I know God. I mean, God spoke to me, and like I speak to God all the time, So he cracks me up. He cracks me up. He or she cracks me
I
up.
think
My
it's
mom
a
always
she,
says.
because
Yeah.
women have a better sense of humor.
Yeah. I would always say he and my mom go, it could be a she, okay, but whatever. Like, but it just flabbergasts me that once again, we're sitting here and we didn't know that you're making. Is that the reason that you wanted to do the show, or you just did it because Judy had asked you?
Judy, I actually said, "You sure?" I'm an orthopedic physical therapist now.
Yes, I understand that.
And that's what she said. Yes, I understand.
Wow.
So no, but I'm a very spiritual person myself, and I think things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Meant to be.
And you know what? You have to be spiritual in life. You have to have something to hold on to. Doesn't matter what that is, as long as you have great faith and you hold on, because life is hard and it's important that you hold on to something, because sometimes it gets to be challenging in life.
It's the attitude.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have a hard life, but what you do with it and the attitude is what all that matters, and the people that surround you to help support you. Thank you.
We're gonna leave it at that. That's a wonderful words, and we'll see Venise again on our show. And thank you to Ginny and Nancy, and of course Judy. We have a board meeting after this, so we're heading on to work on a telethon. Yay! So thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Jim. Even though it was Jim is our guest next week.
I am. I'm nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. Come on, Jim.
Jim is really going to share the struggles he's had physically. He keeps going and going and going and going and going. So Jim is a really...
with a big smile on his face.
Really an inspiration to all of us. So we're going to go. Thank you. I guess I can't sing today because we were too busy. But just listen to my videos. All right, let's go. Let's blow our kisses, everyone.
Ready?
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful day. God bless.
God bless.
Have a stroke of luck.
Bless.